Like, what's been going on?
Mostly just been practicing chord changes. That's like kind of working through the stuff we started on, and then I have this chord chart that kind of I got out of the back of a music book that has all the
diagrams.
The diagrams, yeah, and kind of working through that stuff and just.
Oh, are you getting caught up in any particular changes from any chord from one chord to the next?
Yeah, C to the G is still like my biggest. That's like I still have to like kind of place those fingers. The C particularly is like
the C particularly. Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm still like having to kind of place those fingers one at a time instead of just like boom hitting it.
Yeah. Okay. And C to G is going to be a very important one, particularly with a lot of stuff that you want to do, because it does have that country-ish.
Right.
You can, of course, we talked about do the changes in the other keys, but the C and the G will give you that real flavor sometimes.
Right.
A workaround, if you need to, is capo at the 3rd fret.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do the G or E major to an A, you'd get the G to C tonality. You'd do the E of G, and you would still get that G to C. So anyone else doing G to C would be
right there
with you.
Okay. But
you're in a chord shape that you're much more familiar with.
Right. Okay, that's good to know.
That's a workaround if you want to get something ahead of time. So in changing things, I think we might have kind of gone over this a little bit. What it is we want to try to put your brain on a timer.
Right.
Try to get you to speed up just a little bit. And I think, so just take your C major chord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of lower your first finger. It's on the 3rd string. There you go.
There, right.
Yeah. That's it. So you stack from the first finger. What I mean by stacking, you bring each finger on one at a time, starting with your first to the 3rd.
Right,
okay? That is where you're kind of going to feel a little bit of the slowness, I think. I know we talked about trying to see if you can just get your 2nd and your 3rd finger down first, then adding the first finger might help with the speed.
And that has definitely been like when I do it that way, it gives me that, like you said, like it gives me that I get the first 2 down before I start strumming, and if I work it out right, then that first finger is in there by the time I get down.
By the time you get down there.
Yeah.
There's a couple things we can work here. So let's just kind of warm up a little bit, get a little loose with the brain and the fingers and stuff. So we're just gonna slowly, at a time, not worry about the speed of it. You're gonna go from C major to your G major, and just kind of go, pluck each one at a time, double checking the. I think your first finger might be, oh, there, you're doing C. Yeah, if you could scoot back just a hair from the computer, you'll bring your fingers up. There you go.
There you go. Good.
Yeah, okay. So, just going from C to your G major. Yeah, just to kind of get a little loose in it. Just to warm up a little. A couple more times and I see what will work with this.
I'm so used to stacking it that way that it's like I look at.
That's the natural way. We're going to keep it. We're not going to fight your fingers on it. That's the way your muscles have started to get to. You're going to have to do it the other way. Would be trying to relearn it.
Relearn it, right?
So what I'm seeing here is when you're going to G, or from the G to the C, bringing this down, and you're putting your first finger here, but you're still leaving these two up here like this.
Right.
So then it's a slower switch around. So the idea is still go ahead and take your first finger off and let it come down here. But look to see about rotating these faster. Okay. That's what we're getting. That's where your hitch is happening.
Yeah.
It's getting these rotated faster over to then get the rest of the chord down. So in this circumstance, what we're going to do here, you're going to do a G like this, and bring your first finger over. Go ahead, and you're going to feel it right here at the knuckle. Just switch it. And then still stack your first finger down. But we're adding a new component of you switching your fingers.
Right.
This twitch right there. That's really... Yeah, there. Yeah, so that's where you want to focus your attention, is on those two fingers right there.
That's like, I've been doing a lot of, that magic chord change, throwing that E minor in there, and partially because then it makes it so it makes it so easy to pivot to that. Like if you put the E minor in between the G, but you don't always want it there. But that's like I learned that it was like,
Now here's a completely different alternate approach. Now you may like it, you may not like it. It's a new way of doing things. So here's your C major, right? Some people will do a G major and
sorry. Yeah.
No, that's not. We'll do a G major with these two fingers like they have on the C. So your third finger is on the low E string on the 3rd fret, your 6th string, and your second finger is on the A string on the 2nd fret.
Okay.
So, and then you bring your pinky down just to cover the first high E string on the 3rd fret.
Oh, well, that would be, wow.
And then what you do is just simply bring those two down and add your first finger.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that, I can see that.
Drop those two.
Yeah. I can see that, if I can learn that, that would be certainly a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's just unlearning the G.
Yeah, it's unlearning your G in another way. I know I've seen Tony Rice do it that way. I've seen a lot of guys, and it actually is beneficial because if you do like this and your first finger's down on the 1st string, a G7 chord, you just take your pinky off of the 1st string and put your first finger there on the 1st fret high E.
Right. So you can switch.
From G major to G7.
Right.
And it would give you that, in the context of a lot of stuff you want to do, that G7 is very important because it has that...
Right, yeah.
You get your 7th chord.
Right. So, would you do that, like, would you just always do your G like that, or do you just do it like that when you know you're going to be using it with the change of the C? It's just like it's an alternate finger.
It's an alternate fingering.
Right. That makes sense to me, yeah.
So, yeah, it depends to set yourself up for something else. Some people, I think some people might just do it just because they don't even want to bother with it. They just get so used to it because they use the 7th chords.
Right.
Which have that, very twangy sound to them, that dissonant sound, that 7th sound, which is very popular in a lot of folk music. It works. I mean, and you just drop a finger in the raised one. You just raise up and down.
That's cool, yeah.
And then just drop those two. Okay, so your hand. We want to watch our fingers. So when you switch from here, your 7 to that C, in an effort, your fingers came all Okay? So we're going to have to build in a slow pace to really build those muscle memories of just dropping it down. If that's the way you're going to go with it.
That's definitely something to
consider.
Yeah. I mean, if I can learn that other G like that, I mean, that certainly opens up a lot of possibilities.
I think you personally might enjoy that a little bit more with what you're wanting to do.
Right.
Someone else may not bother with that 7th chord at all.
Right. But the type of music that I'm playing. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So back to the regular G. It's more traditional. Your brain's gonna get used to flipping fingers around. We just need to build a track for your mind to really.
Sorry, just trying to get it synced. Okay.
I can see your hand.
You can? Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's just let me know if you have any trouble seeing mine.
No, I can see you fine.
Okay. So, and again, so let's just do it this way. For when you're practicing a few minutes and kind of you're warming up, set maybe 5 minutes aside just to kind of do your G. I know it feels awkward, I can feel it, but just switching those two up there, you're just going to have to take it out of context. I think about moving my 3rd finger up ahead of the 2nd.
Well, yeah, I can see, like, the way you do it, I literally, I can see your hand pivot on that finger.
On this finger.
Yeah.
So that's the emotion my hand feels. Now, again, everyone's hand's different, and this is just, to point out the way I'm feeling that may help you in a way. It just pivots on that 3rd finger. And you just might have to sit there for a few minutes each day just to get your hand used to that muscle motion.
Right. Yeah, I see where that's going, definitely.
Okay, so that just a few minutes to really that's what's going to get your change faster there.
Cool.
It takes too long for you to stack because you bring it here and brings the fingers out, and then you come through on it. So we're not going to apply this next thing, this rhythmic exercise, to help you build your timing up with the G-C chord change.
Okay.
Is you want to still work the change when you feel smooth enough that you can start to put a timer on that rhythmic timer.
Right.
I think E major, A major.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, okay. That's good.
So I don't know. Stop me if we've done this before in the